So today we're going to work with standard form of a parabola, quadratic equation, and that's in the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. That's the standard form. To find the x value of the vertex, use this formula. X equals negative b, that b, the coefficient of x, over 2 times a, the coefficient of x squared. First, you're going to find that, and then you're going to substitute that value for x in here, wherever their x's are in the original equation, and solve for y to get the y value of the vertex. All right, let's actually use that here. So here's our problem, and we want to substitute in the a and the b values. Now, remember, it's negative b over 2a, not a on top, a's on bottom. So the a value is negative 3, and the b value is positive 18. So now when I plug that in and do a little simplification, negative 18 on top, 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. The result of that would be positive 3. So the vertex x value is 3. Now I'm going to come down here and plug 3 wherever the x was. Notice I put parentheses around where the x was, and whatever's done to the variable, like the negative 3 times and the squaring, is on the outside of the parentheses. So 3, there it is. Now I have to use my order of operations. Y equals negative 3 times, square it before multiply, 9, plus 18 times 3 minus 23. I could have done this multiplication, but let's do all the multiplication in the same step. Y equals negative 3 times 9, negative 27, plus, well, 3 times 8 is 24, carry the 2, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5, so 3 times 18, 54, minus 23. Let's go another step into this. Now, you could add together in any of these, you could add any of these together. Like I could combine the negatives together and then after combine it with the positive. That's often the easier way to do it, or you could just work your way straight across. If you worked your way straight across, negative 27 and 54 is positive 27 minus 23, which comes out to 4. If you had done it by combining the negatives together first, 20, 40, 50, negative 50 and positive 54 also comes out to 4. So either way of approaching it comes out to the same thing. Oh, okay, I know what that is. So now, once you have done that, let's bring this back up. From here on out, the easiest way to find more points, go up by 1 each time, and then down by 1, just like we've done before. You need usually at least 5 points for a good graph of a parabola. So let's start with these and see where it brings us. All right, I'm going to do 4 here. Now the numbers can get rather large sometimes, so you may want to use a calculator if you're having trouble with some of the calculations. Squaring first, oops. And we know 4 squared is 16. Then do your multiplication. Negative 3 times 16, negative 48. 4 times 18, 40 and 32 is 72. And then combine like terms, or all these together, add and subtract. Let's see, 40, 60, 71, that makes 1. And as we've said before, whenever you're finding values for a parabola, when you go equidistant from the vertex along the x-axis, this way, so like 3 to 4 is 1, 3 to 2 is just 1 difference. So when I plug in 2, I should get the same value for y for both 4 and 2, because if I don't get the same value for y, then my vertex is wrong, or I've calculated one of those points or both wrong. Negative 3, 4, plus 18 times 2 minus 23. Negative 12 plus 36 minus 23. Let's see, 35, negative 35 plus 36 is 1. Sure enough, they come out to the same thing. Once you get ones that come out to the same like this, and you've got your vertex, the next point, you can, I'm not going to do that here, but you can do one of them and just fill the other one in. Now, I would never do that on a test or a quiz, because if you made a mistake, then they're both going to be wrong. So definitely test or quiz, do out both of them. But prior to that, if it's homework, to save you, especially if you feel like it's a long homework for you, you could short it down a little bit by doing this, filling in the 1. Simplifying. Combining of like terms, and that would give me negative 26 plus 18. That's going to give me a negative 8. And then you could come over here and go negative 8, negative 8. Because these two are equidistant from the vertex. But just to be certain that it does come out to negative 8, let's prove it. We can prove it by doing it. Negative 3 times 5 squared, 25. Then multiply here, negative 75, 90. All right, 90 negative, 98 plus 90, negative 8. Sure enough, it does come out to negative 8 that you were hoping for. All right. Not sure why that little shadow is there, but we'll ignore it for now. It's not that important. Oh, it's this. That's what it is. My camera is getting in the way. It looked like a file folder. Here we go. Now we're going to do the same thing as the last one. We're going to find the vertex, and then we're going to find 2 points on either side of the vertex. So let's give that a shot. Negative b over 2 times a. Well, a, coefficient of x squared is 2. B, the coefficient of x is 8. That's negative 8 over 4, negative 2. It is possible to get an answer where this comes out to a fraction. It's not pleasant when that happens, but it's the way it really is. So it's possible to get a fraction, but we'll try our best to make sure your answers come out to nicer answers than that. So then, oh, that should be x, not y. I apologize. So used to putting y there. X value is negative 2. So our vertex x, let me do that again. Our vertex x is -2. We're trying to find the y value, so we'll plug that in. 2 times squared plus 8 times plus 6. Notice I put parentheses where the x's should be. Now we'll fill those in with -2 in this situation. And go ahead and simplify. 2 times -2 squared is +4. That's 8 minus 16 plus 6. So 14 minus 16 is -2. So it turns out -2 is the vertex in this case. All right, let's continue and find some values on either side of that, like -1 and -3. 0, not -0, but 0 and -4. And those should be enough points for our graph. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get that out of there so that we have that to use over and over. You can do that in pencil, but I do not suggest it. I would suggest instead that you just write this out several times so that you can fill it in and simplify. So we'll start with -1. -1 squared is 1. Two times 1 is 2, minus 8 plus 6. Well, 2 and 6 is 8, minus 8 is 0. Now that we've done that, we'll repeat the process of getting this out of there, erasing this out of the way, and filling in -3. This should also come out to 0. -3 squared is 9. (18) minus 24 plus 6. Well, it turns out that 18 plus 6 would be 24, minus 24 is 0. So 0 here as well. Now that we've done that, let's go to -4 and 0. Well, something very wonderful happens when you plug in a 0 into standard form. That whole thing becomes 0, because 0 squared is 0, times 2 is 0. This whole thing becomes 0, so the only thing you have left is the sign with the number, so that's +6. There's our answer. Now we just have to confirm that -4 comes out to +6 as well, and we'll have finished that problem. -4. 16 is -4 squared. 2 times 16 is 32. 8 times -4 is -32 plus 6. Well, these two cancel each other out, just giving me 6. So there you have it, 5 points. You give this one a try, pause it, find the vertex, unpause it just to make sure, then find the 4 other points that you need, and then see what we come up with. All right, now that you've unpaused it, remember, this is a -1, understood to be there because it's no number, so we fill it in with a 1 if there's nothing else there. X equals negative of -4 over 2 times -1. So that's 4 over -2 or -2. Y equals -2 negative parentheses squared minus 4 parentheses minus 3. Again, we've got our negative 2 for our vertex. And we'll fill in negative 2 and solve. Y equals negative 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times negative 2 minus 3. Negative 4 plus 8 minus 3. Well, negative 4 and 8 is 4, minus 3 is 1. Or you could say negative 7 and positive 8 make 1. All right, now let's go above and below. For example, negative 2, negative 1, negative 3. Let's try those. Right. Negative 1. Fix that. And let's continue. Negative 1, positive 4, negative 3. Well, negative 4 and 4 make 0. Now let's do negative 3. Negative 3 squared is negative of 9. Negative of negative 3 squared, negative of 9, minus 4 times negative 3 minus 3. Negative 9, positive 12, negative 3. Negative 9 and 12 is 3, minus 3 is 0. All right. Now let's go one further out to 0 and negative 4. Well, it's very similar to the last problem. In fact, if I had divided everything here by a negative 2, I'd come out to this one. Interesting. All right. That's not quite what I meant to do, but that's okay. Y equals negative parentheses